Hello and welcome to the Temenos Community Forum 2023 in Vienna. I'm Hannah Wallace from FinextraTV, and with me now is Will Moroney, Managing Director, Middle East and Africa at Temenos. Will, thank you very much for taking the time out of the busy event to come and speak with us.
It's great to be here.
It's really good to have you in the studio, and I'm excited to talk around the Middle East and African region because digital transformation has been a real buzzword across the US and Europe for some time now. But the MEA region is still going through a period of modernization, isn't it? So where are we up to? Set the scene for us and bring us up to date.
Yeah, so I think that to begin with, the MEA region, sometimes people think that maybe it's not as advanced as other regions with regards to digital transformation. It's a misconception. In many areas it's actually more advanced, but there are areas now that I guess we feel like we're falling a little bit behind on. So the areas that traditionally MEA has been very advanced on has been core solutions. A lot of the US and Europe are still running on very, very old core solutions, but in MEA a large number of banks have now moved over to more modern solutions. Mobile financial services has been very strong, especially in Africa, with the onset of SMS banking, not really used in many other parts of the developed world, but it's a very, very important fabric of the African financial services lifestyle, let's say. So that they have been ahead in certain areas. The areas where there's probably a conception that we're falling behind a bit now is in especially cloud. And that's predominantly because of regulators not being as advanced in their regulations as, let's say, Europe or the US, and also because there's been quite a few stovepipe ways of building applications for the customer experience. We haven't had the new age generation 4, as I call it, mobile customer experience that's cross-platform. So that's a major area that's been of focus of the customers in the Middle East of late.
Well, thank you very much for bringing us up to date, and interesting to hear where they're ahead and where they're behind. So what's your advice then for those banks moving to the cloud in the region, and what do you think are the next steps needed?
Yeah, well, so I think the interesting thing is that when we go across the banks at the moment, the attitude has changed a lot. So my advice a few years ago would have been kind of get with the program, because they were ignoring the cloud advancements and some of the other advancements as well. But that's all changed. So now there's a FOMO creeping in among many banks in some of our markets, where they are not getting the regulations, or they're not getting the hyperscalers in. My advice to all of our customers and non-customers is begin with the end in mind. Think about where you think things will be in a 10-year window, or in even a 15-year window, and then start to work your way back, because we're all going there. We know we are. We're all going to get there. It's really just about how long it's going to take. So I think that would be my biggest piece of advice.
Some sound advice to lead off from there. So could you share some examples of clients putting that strategy into practice and how they're approaching digital transformation going forward then?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate in Middle East and Africa. In Temenos we have almost 370 customers, and our customers range from the very largest to the very smallest banks that we're supporting on their technology journeys. If I may talk first about Al Rajhi Bank, the largest Islamic bank in the world in Saudi Arabia. So we undertook a very large piece of work with Al Rajhi Bank, where we completely renovated the loan side of their systems. And that's an interesting approach, because basically what they did was they took what was their most important business, the one they were probably struggling with the most. They're on an old platform, about a 30-year-old platform for the rest of their business, and they decided we'll go with that one first. You could call it a composable renovation. So that was an approach that sometimes you see, but that was their approach for Al Rajhi in Saudi Arabia. If we move then to the UAE, one of our largest customers again in the region, First Abu Dhabi Bank, we've had almost a 20-year relationship with this bank. So very solid, very stable. They run their conventional Islamic and their overseas operations on Temenos technologies. They have a very, very big program to move everything to the cloud. And we're very fortunate in the UAE because we have access to hyperscalers, we have access to public cloud providers. So this sort of a move is huge, especially when you're moving your entire core systems. And the engagement we have there is basically coming up with a 5 to 6 year plan on the journey. And what that means is that the bank is engaged with us on what our product roadmaps look like for that period and how they align their moves and their changes over that time.
Well, thank you very much for taking us through those regions and telling us about the work Temenos is doing in that space. And I really want to end on, as you say, the roadmap. What is the sort of time frame that we're looking at with this?
So I'm going to be bold, if I may, if that's okay.
Please do.
I'm going to say that most of the banks in our region, in MEA, and most of their workloads will sit on cloud within 10 years.
Right.
So let's see.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to catching up further down the line and reflecting on those predictions. But Will, thank you so much for sharing your insights. This has been really interesting, and I'll let you get back to the event to share those insights with the rest of the delegates. But thank you very much.
Super. Thank you very much.